Hello and welcome to the Cutie Art Crusaders, episode 85 for February 18th, 2014. My name is Rainbow Plasma. I'm the organizer and host of this week's podcast, and today I'm joined by...
Bruno1! I coordinate special guests and stuff.
And you're editing this week.
Oh yeah, and that.
Yeah, that too. I'm FlutterGuy317, and I'm the media manager for the podcast.
I'm Admiral Spark. I do the rest. So which is questions this week.
Yay!
I'm glad that we changed your title, Flutter Guy, because it just sounds so much more natural.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
nice.
it's an alliteration too, which is my favorite part of speech, by the way.
Yeah, too bad your name didn't start with an M.
Yeah, I know.
That would have been better.
Mutter guy.
Mando guy.
So you're not feeling too well today, bud.
Well, I'm feeling okay, but I bit my tongue and lip like 2 days ago, and so it is killing me. So I probably won't be talking that much.
Didn't you say you bit it like 3 times?
Yep. Yeah.
So, I wake up this morning and I do what I normally do on Valentine's Day, which is what we'll get to in a second. But I do what I normally do, and I text everyone, Happy Valentine's Day. And I get a text message back from Flutter Guy saying, hey, not sure if I can make the podcast, or not sure if I'm up to doing the podcast recording. And I was like, oh, why not? And he's like, well, I bit my tongue 3 times.
Did you fall down the stairs or something?
No.
I just, it's not necessarily that that's not a legitimate thing. It's just, I never would have thought of that in the million different things I could have thought of why you wouldn't be recording.
Yeah, it's terrible because like I think I sound weird when I talk now because like of the way that my mouth is kind of moving to avoid like touching the and like I didn't know if I'd be able to talk at all on the podcast today, but it's gotten better throughout the day, so that's good, but it's still not 100%.
Oh right, because it's like not time for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds perfectly fine. I'm not sure if the others feel the same way, but it doesn't sound any different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll try and contribute some stuff.
You sound like a weirdo.
Thank you, Brony.
Well, speaking of mouths, cut that out. That's not.
Oh, so leaving that in.
Valentine's Day. We are recording this on the day of love.
Yay!
February 14th, Friday, February 14th, 2014. That's when we're recording this. I hope everyone who is listening, as well as everyone on the podcast, had a wonderful Valentine's Day. I personally love Valentine's Day because it's the day that you get to celebrate love in all of its forms. I love you guys. I love our viewers. I love a lot of people. Not a good day. Really good day.
We love our fans. You guys are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. Thank you for the fan art. Make more.
Did you guys do anything special for Valentine's Day?
Thank you so much. I worked.
Yeah, same.
I wrote a midterm.
I got an awesome vector for my girlfriend.
Yay.
Burn
was adorable.
slept in.
I slept in and then browsed Reddit for like an hour in bed.
Yeah.
It was actually really nice.
For the record, ladies, 3 of us still single.
Hey.
Yes.
I know it's hard to believe.
I'm actually, you know what? I'm actually totally okay with being single right now. It's really fitting in with my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm generally a super positive guy. I used to be really negative around Valentine's Day. You know, the whole Singles Awareness Day and that kind of depressing.
I remember that.
Pity stuff.
Yeah, I remember that stuff.
But I don't know. The last couple of years, I just decided that I'm not going to let something like that get me down, and I've actually really enjoyed just spending the day with people I love. Not, love isn't just reduced to someone who you are dating, right? Love is a universal concept. It's it's a friendship thing, it's a relationship thing, it's many things like that. So, if you were feeling sad, just remember that there are people out there who love you, and there are people there that love you as well. Or
Are you saying that we're spending Valentine's Day together for a reason?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
No, because we're forced to.
We don't like each other. Not at all.
Don't get me wrong. Like if we weren't doing this podcast, oh my god,
Oh yeah, no.
would not even within 10 feet of you.
By the way, I totally forgot it was Valentine's Day until like we just started talking about it before the podcast.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really? Because usually,
Well, I knew it was like yesterday, but then like all throughout the day, I'm just like, whatever. It's a normal day, and
probably focusing on like your bitten tongue.
yeah.
Well, I guess I'm not sure. I'm sure it varies from workplace to workplace, but at most universities like mine, they kind of throw it in your face.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to roll with the punches, not let it get you down.
Yeah, I always get punched in the face on Valentine's Day. It sucks.
Yeah, it's, people will come up to me and they'll be like, "You want to buy these roses for someone that you like?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm single and I don't particularly want to." And then they punch me in the face with the roses too.
Oh, so you get scratches?
Joke's on them. It sticks to my face and then I run away.
Don't want to support the Girl Scouts are buying my cookies.
What? Girl Scouts are selling roses now too?
Oh man.
No, they were selling cookies. I went to Burgerville. I was like, I like fast food, please.
Yeah.
And then this dude came up to me. He was friggin' huge and tall. And he was like, would you like to buy some cookies for the Girl Scouts and support...
I hate that. I hate that so much. At least get the girls to come up to you. I'm not going to buy Girl Guide cookies from
Girl Guide
anybody but
cookies.
little girls.
Girl
Girl Guide cookies.
Yes. Don't. No. Just no. I know what you were. No.
I have no idea what. Whatever.
So, one last thing I wanted to talk about is that I am taking a trip soon. Yay. And by soon, I mean by the time you guys are listening to this in the past.
Yeah.
I am on Monday, because my spring break, quote unquote, has started this week, actually. Today was my last day of school for the next week or so. So next week I have off. And so I have some stuff to do on the weekend. But I decided to just, I have a car right now. I'm borrowing my parents' car. I've got time. I'm, 20 years old. I want to go on an adventure. So I'm taking a car down. And I'm driving 8 hours to see Mr. Flutter Guy. And stay with him for close to a week.
Yay.
Neato.
We were originally planning to have him come up to see me, but then it didn't work out because of his working schedule. So I decided, I want to go on a road trip. So that's what I'm going to do.
Let's go.
So when you guys are watching this, either on the live stream or on YouTube.
We love you all the same.
Wow. Then I will be at Mr. Ted's place.
I thought we were cutting the podcast short there for a second.
Basically, you're saying you're going to take a trip to a specific town, a something town.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Something town.
Sweet.
In the land of America.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. No, it'll
Very
be
nice.
fun. I'm really looking forward to it. It's awesome to go get to see people who I only get to see once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an adventure, and I like going on adventures.
Yeah.
So you're going down to Party Town?
What?
We that's a good transition. I almost didn't catch that. So our theme for this week's episode is parties.
I mean, I
Since
would
we are-
debate good transition.
I mean,
Well, it would have worked if you had if you had taken a breath and let me talk before when Burn finished, because he was sort of saying something like that, and I would have gone with it. I didn't get a chance to try.
Well, I was making an innuendo about he's going to a town, but
Okay, well, Party Town would have fit in there as well.
Yeah, party town.
Anyway, now that the transition is ruined,
So,
let's do art.
Speaking of parties and art,
It's a party in here right now, let me tell you. So we decided that, in season 4, we were going to attempt to, if possible, try to come up with some relevant themes, because we thought it'd be cool to have kind of time-sensitive stuff. We did some stuff like that previously, I don't remember, but we've done themes like that before. And, the Weird Al Yankovic cheese sandwich thing came up recently. So why not, give that a whirl? And we managed to find a couple pieces, but we decided in general to just go with parties as the theme so that we could fit a bunch of other stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, like this season we've done. What did we do? We did the Griffins theme, which kind of fit with the whole Griffins appearing in the
the new Griffins.
Yeah, and we've done Flutterbat theme.
Right. Yeah, we
So-
did the Flutterbat. So there was.
So
that.
yeah, I mean we're trying to keep relevant a little
Daring
bit.
Do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're on the ball.
Yeah, but we need people to make more art that's relevant. 'Cause-
Yeah, it's that
tough.
kind of delicate balance between making things relevant and giving enough time for people to make art that would really fit our show.
So our theme for this week is parties. So our first piece is called Party Ponies by none other than Blitz Pony.
Hey, look.
Yay! But so this is a piece that features both Pinkie Pie and Cheese Sandwich. Pinkie Pie is painting like she did in the beginning of that episode, and
Just went to town on that piece of paper.
yeah, colors are flying everywhere.
Rainbows.
I thought she did a really good job until Rainbow Dash flew away, and then I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like, wow, she did great just going to town. Like, it's
yeah.
Right.
I love all of like their words of encouragement for her too. Like, you rock, Pinkie. Like,
yeah, like go. And they're like cheering her on as she's just like, "Bah!"
yeah.
Oh, man. I wish I had people around me to do that when I was doing something. Like if I was coding for something, to just have people around me being like, "Man, that was so good. Yes, semicolon."
That if statement.
We should make a website that you just like load up the website and it just says like words of encouragement.
encouragement.
Yeah, like write that paper and like you can have like different links
Dude,
to
yeah.
encourage you to do
You're
different
doing
things.
so well. You've never done better in your entire life.
Guys. Okay, no,
Sounds
seriously.
like a very sad, lonely website.
Yeah, it
Millions
would
of
be.
dollar
It would be.
ideas.
But like, you could select like different topics and stuff, and then like people could upload their own sayings.
All right, you're
but-
giving away way too much here. Okay, if we have $1 million idea, don't just throw it down the drain.
Yeah, like, we don't even want to go over like if you upgrade to premium.
Microtransactions.
So anyhow, this piece
microtransactions.
of art, Cheese Sandwich is with his very iconic accordion, which was very
Yeah.
fitting to Weird Al.
Yeah, that was
yes.
great. That was a really nice touch.
Yeah.
They really let him go wild with both his character and just the episode in general. They kind of handed it
Yeah.
over to him, and you know, normally that's not always the best idea, but you know, he's a respectable guy who watches the show and actually knows what the heck he's doing with it. So he did a great job.
Wait, he actually watches the show.
Yeah, his kids watch the show.
Speaking of knowing what you're doing, though, this artist knows what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh my gosh, maybe not my favorite artist ever.
No,
No.
really?
Yeah.
This is a surprise to everyone.
Fireflies.
What was the- Wait.
Like-
No, not fireflies. What's it called? Lessons from Luna. Ha! No, but you've always loved Blitz Pony's work, and
oh yeah.
and this piece in particular is just really, really awesome. I love the energy it's got.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like something Blitz Pony's always done really, really well is like showing movement and showing potential energy, like in characters when they're flying or showing some kind of crazy movement. And in this one, I mean, we have Pinkie Pie and Cheese Sandwich. Like they look like they're dancing, like they look like they're in motion, like actually dancing. They're doing like a booty bump, I guess would be what that is.
Yeah.
But I mean, from like showing, Pinkie Pie's like brush, like swinging and showing like that movement around, and then also like the paint flying off of Cheese's foot and all that kind of stuff. There's just like simple touches like that do so much to kind of create this like circular movement motion going on.
Yeah. There's
was gonna
also,
say
I
the
mean,
exact
it's not
same
just
thing.
that, but it's also the fact that the poses that they're in kind of convey movement in itself.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the cheese sandwiches, that could be a stationary position maybe, but Pinkie Pie's is definitely one that conveys a lot of motion because there's no way that position could be a standing position, you know?
Oh yeah.
Well, she's not touching the ground. She's jumped up to touch butts.
Exactly. But like there isn't like motion blur lines. There again, like you said, there's the paint to do that, but a lot of it is reliant also on the implicit knowledge and the kind of connections that our brain makes to say, well, that's not a position that you could do standing on the ground, but it does kind of match a jumping thing. And so then our brain goes, oh, must be jumping.
Well, it's the whole diagonals thing, which you see a lot in this piece, from the paint coming off of the paintbrush to even just their legs are at kind of a diagonal angle. So it gives you kind of a tipping / movement motion. And so you get that feeling a lot. And like we've talked about before, there's different ways of showing motion. And you mentioned like motion blurs and stuff is one way, but this is also another way, is to use these diagonals and also the whole like spiraling thing with the paint.
Yeah.
This piece feels so happy, doesn't it?
For sure. It's definitely... I think one of the aspects of it is how light the piece is in general. And this is something that... I mean, I'm not as big a fan of Blitz Pony as you are, Bernd. I don't think anyone can be. But one of the things that I really enjoy with her is her use of extreme lighting. Her kind of... she's not afraid to go into the higher ends of the value scale because she knows what the heck to do with it. I'd like to point out that if you were to just draw a pony on a white background, right, that it wouldn't necessarily look super bright. But what she's done here is via her use of colors and the use of implied lighting, she's made this white background seem incredibly bright. Like it's like popping out at you, which is not something that just happens. This is something that was planned, and this is something that occurred because of the colors and because of the lighting.
It's also her use of saturation too, like how like physically saturated cheese is. Like it's almost blinding, but it gives that awesome sense of, you know, like you said, extreme lighting.
Speaking of lighting, there's a couple of places where you see, mainly on Pinkie Pie, some of this like reflected lighting. Like if you look in her eyes, there's a little bit of like an orange / yellow / green. And in her tail, I don't know if that's actually a paint that's dripped onto her tail or if it's just reflections from the paint and from Cheese Sandwich. But those are really nice touches.
Well, it's all those little touches, like something that Blitz Pony does extremely well in all of her art. It's actually really nice when you go through her gallery and start looking at where she uses it. Even like when we did, was it the snow episode or some episode? No, it was actually just the episode, I think, when we interviewed Blitz Pony. It was a snow piece she did, how the snow in the background, or maybe it was our color episode. Could have been that one with Spirit. I can't remember. It's been so long. But she uses all sorts of crazy colors blended into everything, which makes all of her images like way more interesting than what you would normally think. So like in this one, we have, like you said, the reflective lighting, like the touches of green in her eye. If you look in her legs, like her legs aren't just pink. There's yellow blended in there and like reds. And her tail, you have like the green streak. And like where else? Let's see. What about Cheese's hair? You have like blues and greens blended in there as well. So it's how she blends and paints color is usually just super crazy. Not even crazy, but I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. But she always uses really unique colors and interesting colors and she uses them really well. And when she's blending them into her subjects, images, characters, you name it, to create something that's I always find extremely beautiful, which is why I'm a huge fan.
That's interesting because like all the blending of colors in like the hooves and in the hair and stuff like that is very subtle. But then you get these like kind of extreme ones like in Pinkie's tail and kind of in like Cheese Sandwich's mane and stuff that really make it pop a little bit, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, fun fact. If you remember her like old art pieces and like her first Fireflies piece, one of the things I really loved about it was those crazy outlines that Blitz Pony was known for, of just like colors that aren't supposed to be there, of just bright outline colors. And we actually ended up asking her about it in the episode when we interviewed her, and she just liked it because she thought they were pretty, because she enjoyed them because they were fun. But her crazy outlines have actually been receding somewhat, and they've been going into like things like on Pinkie Pie's tail, where it's like actual like color of now blended into the environment or like blended into the character like Cheese's hair. So she's taking those kind of crazy outlines and kind of slowly starting to blend them in really smart ways. But they're still there in a lot of pieces she does. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's fun stuff.
Yeah.
I think she's learning to integrate them a little bit more into her piece, as opposed to just kind of putting them there because she thinks they look pretty. I think she's starting to channel them a little bit more and use them to not necessarily be something that stands out from the piece, but something that's part of the piece in general.
Yeah. In her more recent pieces, not peaches, she's becoming more of like an established like digital painter and how she uses colors like next to each other and stuff like that. Where her pieces before were like very, very illustrated with outlines and the kind of crazy things.
If Blitz Pony is listening to this, can you make us a picture of a peach? Thank you very much.
In her peach series, as you can see here.
Yeah. It's going to be fruit and bowls.
Fruity Art Crusaders!
So one last thing about this piece before we move on is I absolutely love the expressions in this piece. They are just so happy and so full of life. So, yeah.
How many amazing things can this artist do at once?
7! We counted them.
So anyhow, all right. So our next piece is called Pinkie Pie by Fleebites, and this is quite a bit more of an abstract-ish piece, just featuring Pinkie Pie in a party-ish setting with some balloons and crazy wild hair.
Yeah, yeah. This one, like, I mean, the last one wasn't exactly standard, but this one, like, took standard and threw it out the window when it came to it. Because it is, I mean, I might not be the best at using this term, but I believe it's a form of abstract, right, Bernd?
Yeah, you can say that.
But it's also very expressionistic.
Yes. There are a lot of elements of abstraction in this piece used, especially in the line quality. Because oh my gosh, when we're talking crazy, like, just look at this line quality. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's again really super expressive in like how the lines are used and how it's drawn, and like how everything that in visually what you're seeing like makes you feel. So like there's a lot of qualities that are both relating to like abstraction and expressionism. So
yeah,
it looks very chaotic, which suits Pinkie Pie very well.
Yeah.
Also done completely traditional, which is also really cool.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Done in markers.
Yeah.
Again, we always say this. You guys should go look at this artist. Fleebites is becoming like this artist is like one of my favorite artists out there that makes pony stuff. It's just ridiculous. We featured in our watercolor episode, I think, the Rainbow Dash and the Wonderbolts.
Yep.
Like that crazy piece. And there's so many more pieces I want to feature of just these crazy, super interesting, surrealistic, like colored pencil drawings and just awesome, awesome things that you guys should really go check out.
Yeah. I'm not terribly into the whole surrealist thing. But that being said, I can still recognize how awesomely done it is. And pieces like this, really, there are certain types of art that don't necessarily grab me, but I can still look at and go, wow, that's really well done. And Fleebites is definitely one of those artists that may not grab me personally, but I can look at and go, wow, that was really well done.
Yeah, it's interesting the choice of colors that was used, especially, I mean, not necessarily in Pinkie Pie because she's obviously pink, but in the background, you get these like blues and stuff. And it makes the balloons almost look like just bubbles or like maybe glass balls even. It's kind of an interesting choice that the artist made. And it kind of adds to that whole surrealist feeling to the piece.
Yeah.
Also how the artist made them, because like this looks like watercolor. I believe you said it was done traditionally.
Yeah,
it's traditional art drawing. So I mean, it looks like watercolor to me. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger.
He said it's done in markers. So
marker? Oh, like Copic?
I would say so. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Cool. Yeah. I was just gonna say how the artist like created the balloons too, with that it's not negative space but unmarked area like inside of the balloons. So
Yeah, well, that's the thing with like when you're doing traditional stuff is to get white, you either have to use like a very bright kind of a gel pen, which you've seen before, or you just have to unpaint it, which means not painting it in the first place.
It.
Yeah.
So that is something really cool. Because like your brightest value that you use in a piece is like the white of your paper, and a lot of times, especially with like charcoal. So that's why you have a lot of artist paper that's already toned for you. That's like a medium gray or whatever. But like the choice in this piece is when the artist left the white the artist is using it as like an outline. So like outlining the character, outlining the balloons, showing areas of value, showing areas of highlights. So like in the balloons and stuff. So how the artist chose to use that white of the paper, like leaving it there so like you can actually see it instead of covering it up completely, like in something like a Sophie Cabra painting or something. It's it creates a really awesome feel too. I think one of my favorite parts are like in the balloons and like all the now I'm just describing the whole piece, like all the lines in the hair.
Yeah.
And then especially on Pinkie Pie's shoulder and like hoof in front, how there's like a bright line of white and there's also like a slight gray, it looks like, colored in.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, and I'd love to know like the whole thought process that goes on behind like using the unpainted space for outlines, because I would imagine that it's got to be fairly tricky to kind of lay out the whole piece and plan to like not have places painted. The same goes for like watercolors and other stuff like that. But
Yeah, that's so far past me.
Yeah. It also looks like there's areas where white was painted on top as well, with like maybe like a gel pen or something, or a white pen if that exists.
yeah,
Sure,
it does.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
It looks like in areas of like the balloons and on Pinkie Pie's little party thing.
Right.
What is that?
Yeah.
Toot majigger? I don't know.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
What are
Thinking
them
around.
things?
Yeah.
I really love the balloons. They are incredibly realistic, or realistic, I guess is bad, but they really pop out and they stand out to me, and it like tricks my brain into thinking they're real, or at the very least properly 3D, and it's like, whoa, you know, the gloss on them is just so metallic and so spherical. It's like, wow.
You said pop
It's like
out.
when you zoom in on it and you see like the mark quality too, and of like colors and stuff used. I mean, there's purple, there's blue, there's orange, and then like how they mix together and how like the markers are swiped.
Yeah. This is another one of those pieces where if you zoom in, like you can see how it's made and stuff, but if you zoom out, then you kind of get the whole picture and things blend together really well. You get that in a lot of like expressionistic pieces.
I would like to purchase this art, please. How much?
One art, please.
Yeah, that one.
Probably too expensive.
I wonder how you go about planning something like this. It boggles my mind to think about how you would plan to make something like this.
See, that's one of the things where a lot of times with artists, it's not planned.
I understand it not being planned, but I mean, you
yeah.
have to do a rough layout of where you want the characters and stuff, and even just that boggles my mind in something like this.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that it's traditional is a big deal to me, just because, like, when you think about adding in a lot of white space, when you think about digital work, like, it's easier to, because you can just erase stuff. And, like, you can't just erase. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's methods with, like, going over it in white, but it's never the same as being the original.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you think back at, like, some other really famous surrealist pieces, like those done by Salvador Dali or whatnot, it's like, what had to go into those pieces, or what went through that artist's mind when they were creating it, like, that it ended up like that.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of those, the point of surrealism is it's supposed to, like, imitate dreamscape or, you know, dreamlike qualities. So I imagine a lot of that had to do with dreams that maybe the artist had, but I don't know. I haven't, like, looked up anything about Salvador Dali.
So I'm guessing this is from a dream of Pinkie's, where she's celebrating something.
That's kind of what I was getting at when I was saying that it's like it's very surreal, like in that there's a lot of crazy, you know, dreamscape like things going on in the piece.
Yeah,
it's that word crazy that I keep using because it's things that you kind of know what I mean. It's a good descriptive term for all of the chaotic things going on.
That's what I was going to say. It's a better word, chaotic.
extreme organic uses of line and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the biggest advantages of having something like markers on paper, is that it does have that organic quality that you can only really simulate in a digital landscape.
Yep. All right, so we're gonna move on to our next piece.
I don't wanna.
I do. Let's do it.
Which is called Pinkie Pie Party by CaramelBrulee. And this piece is adorable. It's another piece with just Pinkie. And she's got a cupcake on her nose. And it's got a candle in it. And the candle is lit. And it's amazing.
I love CaramelBrulee.
Oh, yeah?
I do. I really, really love this artist. He, she, something. I don't know. I'm going to go with the assumption that it's a she, because I've been more often than not wrong when I assume it's a guy. So I'm sorry, Caramel, if you are not a girl. But as for now, you shall be a she. So she just, I don't know. I just love the style, and I love the way that she draws ponies, just like the muzzles and the faces to me. And like that, to me, is a very important thing. So she's always had this great kind of set of expressions that she does, and just the way she draws the ponies in general. She may not have like a huge wealth of like crazy backgrounds, but I mean, just in the few, just like under 30 pieces that she's posted in her gallery has already like captured me in terms of the style. And I know immediately when I look at that's CaramelBrulee.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we featured her Celestia piece before, I think.
Yeah, that was in the value episode. So one of the most important episodes, am I right?
Yeah.
Damn straight.
And I think her Rose Luck was also in the Rose Luck as well.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's possible. We have featured a fair few pieces by them before.
So good.
We almost featured like the Luna piece in one of our episodes, but
Yeah.
didn't.
No, I don't know how to describe it exactly, so that's why I'm kind of tracing it back to the faces, because there's some great facial expressions, and a lot of the times with like pony muzzles, when you try to like render that in a more 3D space, because as an artist you want to kind of expand upon what you see, you don't want to just redraw what you see on the show, you want to create your own thing, right? And a lot of times that involves kind of expanding the pony into 3D space. It's really hard to do without hitting that kind of uncanny horse valley. And CaramelBrulee says, Horse Valley? Who cares? I'm just going to make amazing facial expressions.
Horse Valley, Schmorse Valley.
Yeah.
S'mores.
For me, why CaramelBrulee stands out so much is her use of painting, like her digital painterly style. It stands out to me, above all things. It's why I picked that Celestia piece in the value episode, and it's why I have like all of her pieces favorited. It's how she just it's so heavy-handed in how she uses like the digital brush. Like it's always kind of like an actual like brush setting or something in whatever program she's using, Sai or Photoshop. And like so like they have the big square marks up in like the top of the piece, and like they actually look a little brushy, like they have bristles. Gosh, I sound like some dude from some commercial. Like in the blues in the background, and then like hatching and stuff, and like the balloons, and then Pinkie Pie's hair, mane, tail, bip, bip, bip.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's awesome, and like the heavy uses of bright uses of yellow and stuff in the lighting. So like the bright marks of yellow in like the balloons and in her hair, like actual scribbles of bright yellow. In her, like on the top of her hair and face and nose, that the candle's creating, and all the like confetti and light emanating and being like brushed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's awesome.
Yeah. It really fits with Pinkie Pie in general, the color scheme, because this piece just has those three colors in general, the pink, the light blue, and the yellow, which matches her and her cutie mark. And then she just kind of runs off with that and takes everything in its own direction. I get, they're also primary colors, a variation on primary colors anyways. Another thing that I liked was the loosest of brush strokes when it comes to both the lighting that emanates off of the candle and the confetti, and how they're both like the same thing, but they're just colored differently. And,
I like that.
And what it does is, like, again, we've talked in the past about when you focus on something, like the face, her face and the cupcake are obviously two things that you would immediately look to because they're the most detailed thing. And when you look at them, the stuff in the sides really starts to disappear and really starts to blur a little bit, and it makes it look like confetti. And you'd only really notice that it's really loosely brushed if you like actually physically look at the confetti.
I would also like to direct said audience's attention to some really awesome things that I just noticed. If you look at the balloons floating, Caramel has taken great care to paint the colors that those balloons would make when reflecting through each other.
Mm-hmm.
So like the yellow and red balloon in the top left, when showing over each other, make an orange, and then the violet and yellow, when they go together, makes kind of like a duller blue. And then on the other two balloons, blue and yellow, they go together to make like a green. So she's actually painting those colors that the balloons would show when showing through each other, like painting them. She's not just like, she doesn't just have a color and then she sets a transparency and paints the color over a balloon or something. She's taking the time to actually like go in her color palette and going like, this is going to be a bright orange.
Yeah.
And it makes a really awesome effect to the show, like that little extra bit of care.
Yeah, it's a really cool kind of take on transparency, because transparency isn't just opacity. Opacity is a term used in a lot of digital artworks to kind of describe transparency through layers. But transparency is more than just how faded something is, you know, because like you said, when you combine colors together, you have to consider the consequences of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, like you said, you have to consider that when you put yellow on top of blue and they're both semi-transparent, you're going to get a green.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting because I'm currently working on creating a vector art suite, and part of that is like working on some alpha blending algorithms, which is basically the combination of colors that are translucent or transparent. And there's a lot more that goes on like behind the scenes than you would think when it comes to that, because you know, there's you kind of have to be very careful that when you do blend colors that they're not like, they don't end up making something that looks terrible or whatnot.
Yeah.
And that actually makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But something that I wanted to point out in this piece that I really love is the outlines in Pinkie's tail are reflected light from the balloons that are on the floor.
Yeah, I just noticed that too. It's awesome.
Yeah, so there's the blue next to the blue balloon and the yellow next to the yellow balloon, and it's amazing. And also, just to go back to the cross, well, it's not cross hatching, but it's just straight hatching in Pinkie's mane and on her face with the candlelight. It's amazing.
And on her belly.
Yes.
Yeah, and the shadow of the mouth. I just wanted to bring something up quickly as well. It took me a minute to realize what it was, but again, with the tail, where you've got the reflective colors, there's those two, the blue stripe and the yellow stripe in the middle of her tail. It took me like 5 minutes to realize that those are the strings from the balloons. I thought that was the same sort of thing. That was reflective light, but it's not. It's the string from the balloons.
It's creative.
It's cute.
Yeah.
I like to imagine that Pinkie Pie is just sitting there and she's like, you know what? I don't have anything to do today. Let's put balloons everywhere. I'm going to
tie balloons to my tail.
I'm going to make a cupcake, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to clap my hooves together, and we're going to have a party.
She obviously ran out of helium because there's 3 balloons on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, Pinkie Pie's got an unlimited supply of balloons, so
It's just been a very long party. She's been balancing that on her nose for a very long time.
She has stashes all over Ponyville, so.
yeah. For your balloon emergencies.
Duh, Brony references.
All right, we're going to move on to our last piece, which is called Party Ponies by Cherkivi. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is another piece
Cherkivi.
with both Pinkie Pie and with Cheese Sandwich.
Cheese sandwich.
This is a really cool painterly-ish style. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly. Burns, correct me if I'm wrong.
Painterly-ish? Yeah, no, that's about correct.
Okay. But it's interesting because the outlines are very, very vivid in certain places.
Yes.
And the color choice used is also very, I guess, vivid again.
It's so pretty.
Yeah. There's a lot of artists that we've seen that do this where they focus a lot on the colors used. the one that I can think of is My Magic Dream, who does this kind of thing a lot.
And Holivy.
And Holivy.
Yeah. But Cherkivi, you know. Sorry, Brian, did you
What?
want to say something?
No, I was mocking you. Go ahead.
But Cherkivi, she does a really good job of kind of pushing past the boundaries of normal colors. You know, she obviously loves to take these weird colors that we wouldn't expect to see and to just put them everywhere. If you look at any of her pony pieces, you know, when you think of Pinkie Pie, you're like, oh yeah, well, I think of pink and maybe, I guess, a little bit of blue on her cutie mark, but really just, you know, pink overall. And Cherkivi looks at that and she goes, well, what if we just, like, splotch blue, like, everywhere? And then,
and
like...
make her hair, like, blood red.
Yeah, like, blood red. And then, like, I really want to just, like, combine that with an undertone of yellow. And then let's just put, like, blue on her eyelashes. And it's, like, again, it's kind of... It's almost like I can imagine it just being, like, so much fun to do. Like, she just... I don't know if it's just the mood of this piece, but this piece just screams, man, did I ever have a fun time making this.
Oh yeah,
it looks like what Pinkie was doing in the beginning of that episode, where she, you know, or it looks like that's how much fun she would have had making this piece.
Yeah.
man. Yeah, no, that blue is awesome because the really, really bright blue in the top. So like that blue balloon thingamajigger in the top there, and then kind of like the blue haze over the top of the piece, and then the bright blue outlines in her hair. And oh my gosh, I love the blue outlined eyelashes. This is just awesome. And the blue on the top of the CaramelBrulee and kind of how it's splotched over Pinkie Pie, it gives you a sense of that the piece is being lighted top down by blue. So like by a very vibrant, bright blue. And you also get that sense where you have lighting casted over cheese sandwich, because blue and yellow, green.
Yeah. And he's almost like orange too, and then like him especially. I mean, I just talked about Pinkie Pie and how there's a bunch of crazy colors. Look at him. Like, he's got blues. His hair's got greens all over it. He's orange.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's grorange.
And then his shirt colors are just bleeding off of the shirt and onto him. And then like there's like random reds in his hair. And then there's like that bluey greeny thing coming off the right side of his hair that isn't even attached to his hair, but who cares?
It's there.
It's great.
I love the not painted between the linesness of art like this.
Yes,
because it's just it's so freeform and like flowing and fun.
Messy mediums.
Yeah.
There's something inherently fun about, you know, being really messy and loose with your brushwork. I mean, there's obviously energy there, you know, that's created by being so loose with that. A callousness, a freedom, you know?
Yeah, and it's really important to point out that, like, a lot of times we might say stuff and people take that and be like, all right, I should never color inside the lines. That's not true, because if you look at Cherkivi's other stuff, she often does color completely within the lines.
She's very, very clean and neat with it. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, it's just, it's dependent on the piece. And what that proves to me is that she recognized the mood of the piece, and she let herself kind of go crazy with it because she knew the piece was about going crazy. And that's really an important thing, is to sense things not on like an artist-to-artist basis, but on a piece-to-piece basis. And to just adjust things as you would just as if there was a different artist making it every single time. You know, we mention people's styles all the time, but I think people get caught up in styles way too much. You know, styles isn't something you should look to achieve. Style is just the common thread between all of your wonderful pieces of art.
That is deep.
Of visual things that you find beautiful or enjoy making, you know?
But that's not necessarily something that you look at and be like, I want to do this for every single piece I want to make. It's just kind of something that comes out eventually.
Yeah.
Comes by experimentation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like there's quite a lot of experimentation going on in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do love the outlines on the eyelashes. If only for the reason that it like really makes her eyes pop out, or the lashes pop out.
Yeah, it does.
So it's like, it's very much a focus of the piece, or not really a focus, but just a pop factor. There's a lot of pop factor in this piece, though. So it's like,
yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Agreeing.
Burns the agreeing man. Yeah, I mean, it's just like so visually like stimulating that it's so good.
I mean, and it's all like how the colors interact with each other too. So like in all these pieces, we've kind of just been complimenting their uses of color. So it's like there's a part of being an artist is being an experienced colorist. That's what my painting artist or painting teacher will say, is that being like one of the things that comes with like being a digital painter, an actual painter, like traditional painter, is that you have to be very like comfortable with your uses of color and understanding like how you use color and what colors look well like next to each other and stuff. So there's so many aspects in this piece specifically that create that sense of just popping of colors next to colors and interacting with each other. And it creates it, making it super, super pretty. Awesome. Like, I mean, it almost looks kind of off triadric, if you know what I mean by that.
Not a single person in the entire world knew
For those
what you meant there.
watching that may not understand what I mean by that, is a triadric color theme means that you have colors on your color wheel that are in a triangle. So an example of that is the primary colors, so blue, red, yellow. Yeah. That creates a triangle on the color wheel. So what I mean by off triadric is that you take that triangle of blue, red, yellow and you shift it just a wee bit. So you just turn it. And so red pushes towards orange a little bit, or yellow pushes towards orange. Red turns towards a little bit more like violet, and blue turns a little bit more towards green. And they just they shift a little, but they're still three colors that are really spaced out from each other on the color wheel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they're not complete opposites, but they're still very, very, what do you want to call that? Different from each other. So they stand out from each other. So when you have these blues on reds on Pinkie Pie and greens on oranges and, cheese, almost called him Caramel. Caramel's the artist. Or no, Caramel's the last artist. Anyway, all these colors just react, hit each other, and like do crazy things. Crazy is the word of the day, folks. Hey,
Chaotic. I still prefer chaotic.
Chaotic
No,
is good.
Burn's crazy.
I mean,
Tomato.
Burned is crazy. Pinkie's chaotic.
You're crazy!
Tomato. Burned 2014. Oh man, it would have been only.
I'm burned and I like art.
It would have only been better if you said tomato, potato.
I actually probably went with Patudo, but you know, like I always say.
Oh man.
One other thing that I wanted to point out in this piece that I really enjoy is Pinkie's expression. It is just so full of happiness that it's like, well, full of happiness.
So much happy.
Yeah.
So much happy. No, they're great expressions.
Hmm.
You know, I really, if we're talking in a strictly generalizing way about this podcast, you know, usually it's Burned kind of pulling towards educational, and I'm trying to pull towards entertainment when it comes to this podcast. I love the episodes where Byrne just has fun with stuff, and I mean that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not, you know, teaching people things, but you know, just to hear you so happy to just be looking at art, that's always awesome, and I always love like feeding off that energy. So it's really fun to get pieces like these that are all so full of energy, because it's kind of infectious.
In it?
Yeah. Which makes Byrne.
I was in a bunk mood before this.
Oh.
Well, that's because you just woke up, silly.
Yeah, I slept for
'Cause you
like
sleep
12
at
hours.
night.
Maybe you need
Fridays.
to like look at art as soon as you wake up and.
Best way to start off your day.
Yay.
Have a bunch of pony art shoved in your cup.
Oh man.
Burn 2014.
Are you running for president or just quoting yourself time
Byrne
and time
for
again?
president
Yes.
2014.
of the world.
Yeah.
It's not even an election this year, but okay.
Burn for pony president.
And then Celestia comes and banishes you to the moon.
Can we get Atmospark for questions? 2014?
Questions.
Preferably
I can do
today, but not just in 2014.
Hashtag read the goddamn questions.
Well, it is 2014, so deal with it. Okay, question number 1 is, it is Friday afternoon and 4 different parties at the same time are happening. You can choose between a club night in Manhattan, a fancy gala in Canterlot, a country party in Ponyville, or a beach barbecue in Las Pegasus. Which one would you go to and why? Sent in by Sonnenblitz, who is also the person that we keep calling CU. Because they never sent their name in when they sent in the first questions.
Yeah.
doing
A
stuff.
mystery solved.
Yeah, there was that mystery of who is this CU? Who is this copper person that sent us in questions? We had their email, but we didn't. We don't like to give out information. We'd prefer if you guys gave us what name you'd like to be called by. So apparently they did now send in their name, so we can finally match up the mystery question senders. So thank you, Sonnenblitz, for all of your wonderful questions.
Dankeschön, Sonnenblitz.
He's German, by the way.
All right. So anybody got an answer for this one?
Beach barbecue in Las Pegasus.
Okay.
See,
Why?
I'd be hesitant on that one because if you go to, where's Las Pegasus? Is it like Las Vegas?
I'm assuming it's on a beach.
Yeah.
Because there ain't no beaches in Las Pegasus.
Yeah.
Then no,
Man.
no, wait. If it's not. If there's no beaches in Las Vegas, then I think they mean like Los Angeles. Because whenever I think of Las Pegasus, I think more Los Angeles.
Because see, when I was thinking beach barbecue in Las Pegasus, I was thinking it was just going to take my barbecue money and run. Something like that.
Fake
but
beach.
It's in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
See,
I'm down with that. Because
No, I was thinking
EQLA
more
was
the Gold Coast, Australia,
sweet.
where I live, because we have amazing beaches here.
I don't think the location necessarily matters.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
more about
think
the first bit of the question.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure if it's in Las Pegasus, it's probably in the clouds anyway. So cloud beaches, I could go down for that.
But Las-
Also,
is
more
Las Vegas-
Pegasi, and I like Pegasi.
but the rainbows are spicy, man.
Spicy rainbow.
Dude, spicy barbecue.
It's
I'm
a
down with
spicy
that.
rainbow.
It's a spicy.
I would love a rainbow sausage.
Oh yeah, rainbow pickles.
So sorry. I guess you answered why as well,
Sorry.
right?
I
I'm sorry.
I just prefer like barbecues on the beach than all the rest of them.
Yeah, because we have to answer why, guys. So
Right. Sweet. Next.
Oh, I'm so indecisive.
all right.
Someone
Head
else
under the
go.
bus. Go.
Well, I guess honestly, I'd probably say a beach barbecue as well. Just because, like, I'm so not a club person. First of all,
Yeah.
and I mean, I do. It's not like I don't enjoy, a fancy dinner out, but a lot of times it's like a lot of effort, and so that I really like to relax on my Friday nights. Do this podcast. It's hurting cats, but not really relaxing. But if I had Fridays off, I would really want to relax, and so. There's certain aspects for each one that kind of are pressure. And I mean, I guess a beach barbecue as well, but a beach barbecue, you can really just lie down in the sand and just enjoy. And I mean, I'm also looking out my window and there's like a foot of snow, so that might have some influence.
Yeah. All right, I'll go. I think like I do enjoy fancy events. Like back when I was in college, we would do I was in the band and we would do like a kind of a gala kind of thing every semester, at the end of every semester. And those are always fun because you would dress up and go all fancy and whatnot. But it's a lot of work. And if it was a Friday afternoon and I just wanted to have fun, I would also go with the beach barbecue.
Yes, quite.
Bird, choose.
Beach barbecue sounds fun and all, but I'd probably go with Fancy Gala and Kennerlot, because that sounds awesome. Because, like, Bernd happens to be a high-class pony. I'm twirling my mustache right now.
I have this art podcast.
Just the thought of high-class society and wine, yes.
Yes, I have this art podcast. Look, it's very fancy. It's very digital. It's quite progressive.
Delicatessen.
Do you own a monocle?
I like that word. It's very delicatessen. It's like Burn. That's where you buy pastries. You can shut your camelphary.
Yes. I buy the pastries, then I record the podcast.
Joking aside, actually, like a fancy, like I've never been to like a really fancy like gala-like thing, and in something that would be like a royal setting, like Canterlot. Like we're comparing that to something like in like the actual world. Like that sounds to me like it would be really, really awesome because like I actually collect suit coats. Awkward fact about Burn. So like I have a lot of like really cool like different like suit coats and stuff. I have a collection of ties that my dad's helped me started that are really nice. And I also am a huge fan of wine. My dad is a wine collector, so my father and I go on like wine tasting trips and stuff together, and that's some of like the best memories I've spent with my father.
You are a bit of a whiner.
I don't know. That sounds like it would be awesome. Yeah, there you go. Burned. The 2014.
You can't end everything
Yes, I can.
with Burn 2014.
Okay, so do you have time for a second question?
Yes. Do it.
Okay, next question is, when you come across a landscape piece, do you like it more when the landscape frames the pony or when the pony is an addition to the landscape, sent in by Rain Gear?
The great question.
So for the record, this question does not ask which one's better. It asks which one you prefer more. So don't debate on which one's better and then
Too late.
No. This is a preference
Down,
question,
Burned.
Burned. You have to answer or at least say I like both of them. But
that's your definition of preference.
no, it's not. It's the general definition of preference, Burned. I'm going to Google preference right now, and I'm going to read you the
No, but that's your preference of the term preference.
a
Google's
greater
preference.
liking for one alternative over another or others. That is a preference, Burned.
You just said over another or others. That
Well,
means better or better.
Right, but perhaps you might not have a preference.
This is where you go, Burned.
Damn it.
I win.
That's a good point.
I win.
I will go then, seeing as
Sure.
yeah. I like it when a pony is addition to landscape because I think that landscape pieces are absolutely fantastic and can stand on their own, and I love it when like there's just a little pony to kind of throw in there that makes it a pony piece and means that we can feature it, because if it was just a landscape piece then it wouldn't. Yeah.
Whoa. Too much real talk up in here.
No, I don't know. I do enjoy landscape pieces, and I like little touches like for instance the Cosmic Unicorn piece that Burnt now owns. There's a
Damn it, you just changed my preference.
there's a little piece of off the mountain is Canterlot, and so it's just like, you know, it's a really gorgeous landscape piece, and there's a little pony thing in it. So
Just a little pony.
yeah.
I can't decide which
By the way, if
one I
you're
like
curious
better.
what... Yeah, well, see, if you're like Pinkie Dash and you can't decide or you don't know what they look like, take a quick gander over to the artist Divinian, if you know that artist. Head over to his DeviantArt gallery, and a lot of his pieces are landscape pieces. And there are some pieces which are framing said ponies, like the one with Lyra and Bonbon, and then there are some pieces where the ponies are just part of the landscape, like in the one we featured in our castles episode. So, might be worth your time to go look at them and decide which one you think is prettier. Personally, preference, I think that the pieces where the ponies are actually framed by something cool, I prefer those more. I won't say they're nicer or better.
Yep. Because it's a preference, Burnt.
Not because it makes Green Bluesma happy, but because
we love
I am
things
also
today.
a huge fan of the said painting on my wall with by Cosmic Unicorn.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree. Again, both are great. I just, I always look for expressions and stuff. So when the pony is bigger, then it's easier to kind of get the emotions of the piece. It's not always necessarily true. That's not an absolute. But yeah, I do kind of like. I do kind of like when it's framed by something amazing, but at the end of the day, the pony is kind of a main focus.
I think you and I are just a sucker for good framing.
It's true. It's very true.
Oh, I do love good framing. God, now I'm gonna change my answer.
But see, I also really, really love good landscapes.
Yeah.
Like,
I know
painting,
it's such a
painting.
tough question because there are so many good pieces that like do framing and like frame a pony really, really well. Like the piece with Twilight in the library. I can't remember who the artist is or whatnot, but that's a fantastic piece, and it's framing Twilight.
Library's a landscape, count it.
Yeah. And there's also a ton of like
It's a mountain of books.
ton of like Aaron JVL pieces that are the same thing. And, but then I also really enjoy landscape pieces. That,
You already gave your answer.
God.
Atmos Park, have you come up with an answer?
No, I haven't. Like, I really like
You can be neutral.
good examples of both. Like, there are some where the character just plonked into a landscape, and it's fantastic because the landscape serves by itself. But there's also ones that I love that are landscapes that are a pony, like a landscape plonked behind a pony, if you get what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
There are, like, there's great examples of both of them that I really, really like, so I can't really choose.
So what you're saying is you like plonking.
Yes.
Or what you're saying is you don't have a preference.
Which is a completely legitimate answer.
Yeah.
Dear Rainbow Plasma from 85 weeks ago, what has happened? Please tell me how we possibly got to this point. Because this last conversation was a strange one, man. All right, well, that was the thing.
So plugs.
Plugs?
Plugs.
Plugs? Yeah, we can do plugs. I was trying to think of examples, but I couldn't think of any. Okay, so we have a DeviantArt page, which is cutieartcrusaders.deviantart.com. We also have a Facebook account, which is Cutie Art Crusaders on Facebook. We have @CutieArtCrusade on the Twitter. And an email address, which is cutieartcrusaders@gmail.com. Please send in more questions, because that was all of the questions we got sent in last week.
Yay!
Cool stuff.
Thanks, Sean and Blitz and Reindeer.
Yeah.
Did that person send in the question like after our last episode had aired?
Son and Blitz did. Reindeer already had questions sent in. Son and Blitz
That's-
sent in a couple of questions.
That was a really awesome thing to do, to center
Yeah.
the question around the theme. That was really, really awesome. So
That's
shout
exactly
out
why I
to
picked
Son
it.
and Blitz
Yeah.
for doing that, because that is amazing, and you are awesome for doing that.
And speaking of themes,
Dankeschön.
our next week's
Vielen
theme
Dank.
is right
Ja.
here, listed right here.
Yep.
You can
Sehr gut.
click it to go to the. No, you can't click.
You can't.
It's on
Why?
YouTube,
Why?
Dad.
No. We're not making
Please
annotations.
click the link on your screen.
No,
Thank you.
don't
Dankeschön.
click your screen, especially not if you're on mobile.
It will not pause the video, we swear. There's totally a link there. It will not
No,
pause the stream.
It will. It will absolutely do
It
that.
will.
Don't believe him.
Don't click the link.
Burn
Totally click the
2014.
Me.
Click the link. Burn 2014.
Okay. Well, that is everything for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a fun time. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be completely candid here. I wasn't too enthralled with the theme, but you know what? I think we had a great time, and I think the pieces end up coming out a lot better than I thought
Dude,
they would.
it's parties. It's gonna be a fun time.
It's a fun time.
My dog's looking at me weird because I've been acting funny.
Well, I mean, what else is new?
I keep shouting, and he's like, "What are you shouting at?"
Dude, when this episode airs, I'm going to be at your house.
Yay!
gonna
That
be
means we can
sweet.
watch it together,
It's gonna be
or
sweet.
or
Yeah.
not,
Or not.
I don't know.
Depending on how we feel.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Whether or not you're on the live stream or on YouTube, we love you all the same. Make sure to tune in afterwards. We will be doing a spoiler cast like we do every week. Yeah, that's everything. My name is Rainbow Plasma,
That's fun.
I'm Bloody Guy 317.
Atmos Spark.
and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to the 13th spoiler cast for season 4 of My Little Pony, done by the Cutie Art Crusaders. My name is Flutterguy317, and today I am joined by Burndo1
Hello.
and Atmospark.
Oh, hi.
No.
And today we're going to be spoiler casting season 4, episode 14, Philly Vanilli.
Where does that name come from?
There's something to do with quartets and singing, I'm sure.
Philly Vanilli. I have no clue, but I feel like I've heard like something like that. I'm sure it's French. So French people, why is your language so weird? First off, no, I don't know.
I'm not really sure.
I have
I
no
saw
clue.
a thing about it one time at like one stage like a week ago, and I was like, "Oh, it's a spoiler. I'm gonna click away from this right now," and then I didn't actually read it.
Yeah.
It's a cute name though, Philly Vanilli, because I know it's a play on something. I just don't understand.
Oh, it is a play on the controversial German R&B group Milli Vanilli.
Oh.
Nice.
Very
Good,
awesome.
good Google. Well played.
Yeah. Wikia. But, you know.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So yeah, this episode starts out with Fluttershy singing very beautifully, and then
So
everyone
beautifully.
finds out that she's singing, and it's actually not at all like the rest of the singing that has happened in the episodes so far, because they actually realize that they're singing. So, I mean, they've had like in the Rarity Takes Manhattan episode, like Rainbow Dash, was like, who breaks into song? Like,
yeah.
they kind of mentioned that there. But I think this is one of the first real times that we've
They actually acknowledge that everyone's breaking out into song.
yeah. And it actually fits in with the story.
Because no one's like, hey, like, why are you singing Winter Wrap Up? Like, what's going on? Twilight, what are you doing? Stop. Like, no one
Twilight,
says that.
why? Twilight, what are the words? How can I sing along with you? Twilight, tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just assume everyone sings at the gala, like, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's a gala, obviously singing.
Go on.
You know. But, so she sings, Ponies find out she's singing, she gets all, like, nervous and afraid, and then she has stage fright.
And then Pinkie acts like a total jerk.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think of Pinkie this episode?
Cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's such a jerk. Like,
I know.
I think it's funny. Like, I honestly do think it's funny for, like, the joke of it, but
Yeah.
saying that, I didn't laugh. Like, I wasn't watching the episode and I wasn't laughing at it. Because it was like, wow, that's really mean. It was like, it was almost one of those things where you take the joke too far, you know?
Yeah.
To where it's like, you have this character we obviously, like, really care about, so we watch the stupid show. And then you just have this other character who's supposed to be the silly, goofy one, just pounding this character into the ground. You start to really feel for Fluttershy. And in that context, I thought it was nice as a cute touch to actually make us, like, really, like, feel sympathy for Fluttershy, to kind of, like, I don't know, pound that joke into the ground, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, God, Pinkie Pie, like, I know
Yeah,
you're stupid,
as
stop
much
being
as
a
I
jerk.
love Pinkie Pie, I was in my head just saying, Pinkie, just shut up.
Shut your mouth.
Just, no, just shush. And then at the start where they're all like, Fluttershy, why do you want to do it? Why? I was screaming, because she's shy.
When
It's in her
Atmos Spark
name.
is saying, no, stop, shut your mouth, just no, you know it's
Stop,
bad.
Pinkie. Stop.
No. Stop. Stop.
Although, I mean, you do bring up a good point, Bern, that, like, you kind of, like, they really hit hard with the whole Fluttershy being shy thing with that. Because, like, I mean, obviously, they did it for a reason. And I think that's probably what it was. Because, like, I mean, Pinkie has been obnoxious in the past, like, with the donkey episode, or the mule episode.
Oh, yeah.
Where she was, like, you know, kind of hammering hard on Cranky Doodle Donkey.
Yeah, it's a thing of, like, pointing out pure blunt honesty. Pointing out blunt honesty. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, it seems like it was taken a lot farther in this one.
Yeah.
In this episode. But it does kind of, you know, drive home the whole, like, point in the lesson and whatnot. Or at least it gets you to feel more empathy towards Fluttershy.
Yeah, I kind of felt like when we were seeing those sort of things from Pinkie Pie that we see it from Fluttershy's perspective, where she felt like she was being driven into the ground and everything was just Pinkie was just being really, really negative towards her. I just felt like we were seeing that from her perspective and not really from Pinkie Pie, like from an outsider's perspective.
Well, I don't think there's a Pinkie Pie perspective because she's crazy.
Well, there would be, but it'd be upside down and inverted.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was like that, like you said, that driving in, that was a good point when, like, Fluttershy, like, starts crying and just tearing up. Like, like, I know how we see it, and then we see, like, it is, like, it's kind of the joke, and then the character's reacting emotionally, and how we react to that and feel.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious to how a younger viewer would view it, like my niece or something. 'Cause my nieces love the show. They watch it all the time, and they talk to me about it. So I'm really curious how it would make my nieces feel, like someone, like, under the age of 10, you know what I mean? Like, watching this, and then seeing Pinkie Pie react that way to a character, and seeing the character's reaction where they'd be like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Because it is
kind
a
of,
kid's show, so.
Yeah, it is kind of like a deeper, like when we go through it and watch it and stuff, we kind of get these deeper vibes from it, and like, oh, this is what they're trying to do, or oh, it might be from Fluttershy's perspective and whatnot. But like for a younger audience, I mean, not to discredit younger viewers, because a lot of younger viewers are really astute and like,
Yeah, we love you.
yeah, but you know, I wonder, like, you know, with the audience, if they're picking up on stuff like that, and I don't know. But speaking of, like, Fluttershy, like, crying with Pinkie Pie and
I
whatnot,
was going to say, speaking of younger audiences, and be like, the moral was good, but I like where you're going.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, the moral was good, but with Pinkie Pie yelling at Fluttershy, there were some really, really good faces and expressions that came
Oh,
out.
absolutely, they were. There were some great faces in this episode.
I froze it myself when Pinkie Pie was yelling, like in the very beginning when her eyes crossed. I was like, no, pause. I just have to enjoy this for a second.
She did like a my brand face with the eyes.
I don't know where that's from, but whatever.
The
My Brand thing?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to watch that. We'll send it to you after we're done recording.
Yeah,
It's a YouTube commercial,
for,
or not YouTube.
Yeah.
It's a TV commercial for contacts, and it's like it's this guy, and he's like, it's being, you just have to watch it. It's this thing, and they're making fun of drama. And this guy's like, you can't find my contact. I have special eyes. And it's like, look with your special eyes. And he's like, my brand. And it's ridiculous. And it's hilarious. And the internet took off with it. So there's tons of like GIFs and YouTube things. And what's that? The thingy they make the 3D ponies in. It's for Team Fortress 2. Animator.
Source Filmmaker.
Yeah, that thing. People made some funny stuff with that and took off. Moving on.
Yeah. Well, and Twilight had the My Brand eyes in season 3, maybe?
She probably had it in season 1, too, when she went, would she go crazy in season 1 or 2? When she lose it?
2, I think.
2?
Yeah.
Whenever she lost it first with Smarty Pants, pretty sure there were some scenes where she's just like...
Yeah. All right, so but back on topic because
Pinkie's face when Rudy hit her in the face with the newspaper with the little tongue out and the dazed expression that was so good.
Yeah, I also really liked the whole gobble, like her bouncing past the stage and being like, he didn't just lose his voice, he lost the competition and
suck it, Big Mac. Suck it, Peter New.
Poor Peter New. But it is confirmed that, Big Mac sings. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. Props for Peter New, right?
Mm-hmm. Because we heard a little bit of it with the Pinkie Apple Pie episode when they were singing on the trip that they were taking.
Mm.
But it wasn't it was kind of subtle and well played in there and stuff. But this was a very prominent singing role for him. So
also, did we confirm if that was the same voice actor from Fluttershy's voice?
It is not the same.
It is a different voice actor?
Yeah.
Was it Peter New doing the singing for Flutterguy?
Peter? No.
He did the singing in the beginning, I believe.
Yeah, he did the singing for Big Mac. But there were two different people who played Flutterguy. There was Alvin Sanders, who played just speaking roles, and Marcus Mosley, who did the singing voice.
Well, props to Marcus Mosley. Wonderful job.
Yeah. So basically, Big Mac loses his voice because of a turkey call competition thing.
Dude,
not really sure.
Prestigious, man.
I know. He's 6-time winner. Not anymore, though. Pinkie Pie.
Pinkie Pie,
you jerk. And so he loses his voice. Fluttershy has to overcome some stage fright, but ends up having Big Mac lip sync for her, which is interesting.
Yeah. I didn't see Flutterguy coming at all until it started coming up. I was like, oh, okay. Straight away, I was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be Flutterguy. But I didn't see that coming at the start.
Yeah. I saw it. When as soon as Big Mac was started losing his voice, I was just I saw it coming, and then they laid it out right when they had
I thought it was gonna be Rarity,
and I was no. But that was pretty good though, the whole playback to the earlier in the season. I liked that. I didn't know if they were gonna spell it out, but Zecora was totally you remember back when?
Yeah.
So.
Well, because she was there, and she was the one who helped him out of their whole issue.
Also, super cool to see Zecora again. Zecora's voice actor.
I haven't seen her all season.
Brenda Critchlow, right?
Yep.
Hooray!
Yay!
I've got a photo with her. She's really nice.
Yeah. It was great to see her. I hope we see her again sometime in the rest of the season. Because
definitely
those scenes.
There needs to be a Zecora focused episode.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Hey, writers, if you're listening,
Yeah, the season that's already like written and created.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, don't we have 5 more years of this? Like, come on now, yeah, writers.
Yeah. I mean, over the next 5 years, make us a core episode,
Yeah,
please.
come on,
Just
come on.
one. Just one.
Pander to me more.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you were saying, Bern, that it was kind of predictable, like, at a certain point, but it was like, it's one of those things where, it's like, as soon as you figure it out, like, it's like, oh, they're gonna go back to that, and like, it's like, you know,
as soon
it's
as
kind
they
of a
did the
happy
flashback and like I saw Apple Bloom standing on the back, I was like,
Apple Teeny.
Yeah. Yeah, because like it pretty much popped into. I watched it with Rainbow Plasma, who unfortunately couldn't be here right now for this spoiler cast, but we were watching it together, and at the like as soon as Big Mac like lost his voice, we both were like, "Oh, Flutter Guy,"
Yeah.
aka me.
Yeah.
thanks for your cameo, Ted.
Yeah, you know, I do what I can. It's not my voice though.
No,
Should have gotten
you
me
gotta
to sing
be
for it.
real deep.
Talking deep voice. Come on now. So yep.
What? Yep.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's swap topics again. Let's talk about the moral.
Yes.
When I was watching it, like as soon as even in the beginning when she was like super stage fright, like they were laying out the scene, laying out the episode, and I knew it was gonna be like the moral was gonna be, you know, like curing stage fright, overcoming your fears, kind of thing. But I was wondering if they were gonna put a twist on it or just go with the normal like good moral that you think when you think Disney or whatever, like standard moral overcoming episode. Boop, 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 boop. Because like we've seen it, it's been done before. Obviously, you know, it's like, oh yeah, face your fears, stage fright, get over it, whatever. But what I was thinking in the back of my head was I got in this Reddit argument once with this one guy, and he was talking about Adventure Time, and he was talking about how in Adventure Time sometimes when they tackle morals, they tackle it in unconventional fashions. Like one of the episodes was about Finn's irrational fear of deep oceans and like deep water. So, and like it's a phobia. So, the moral of that episode was like, it's okay to have fears and it's okay to have phobias and like, it's okay to be afraid of things. You don't always have to overcome your fears. Like, it's okay to be a normal person. So I was interested to see if they would tackle this episode in like, or this moral in an interesting fashion, or if they would just go with like the normal, like, you know, actually like good overcoming your fear fashion. I'm not comparing like phobias to, like stage fright. Like you can have a phobia of stage fright, like blah, blah. There's a little bit of a crossover there, if you know what I mean. But like irrational fear phobias and then, like stage fright phobias, like there's lines there. I just don't know where they're drawn. But anyway, they went with the like nice, Disney-esque, like stage fright is something that can overcome, especially if you have a really awesome talent. Like it should be something that you should share, and overcoming it can make you a more fuller and fulfilled person. Like at the end when she was writing in the journal, I forget the word for word, but she was basically like, don't hide your true some pony or self some pony horse pun, like whatever she said. But it was good, and I liked the moral how they did it, but it was something in the back of my mind in that like is it okay just to be afraid of things all the time, or like, and I was thinking about like it's okay to be afraid of things to an extent, but things like stage fright I feel like it's good to overcome. So I'm happy they went with that moral for kids, like that moral of that you should overcome something like stage fright, because everyone has stage fright. It's not like a phobia, you know, it's every like kid in kindergarten or like elementary school basically has stage fright to some extent, you know what I mean? It's a natural human instinct, and to like help overcome stage fright. So I was just looking a little too deep into the moral, if you know what I mean. But
well, I like
today in
how
overanalyzing a pony show.
I like how they presented it though, because it wasn't like a you know, oh, by the end of this episode, Fluttershy is going to be completely cured of her.
Yes,
her
I did
fear.
really like that. That's a great point.
It was that, you know, she got over one hurdle with her stage fright, which was just being able to sing in front of some
friends
people.
and animals.
Yeah, she's slowly working it out.
Yeah, which is very relatable to like anyone who's got stage fright or any
hold on.
sort
Or
of
any sort of fear, really. You do it slowly. You don't just all of a sudden go from being able to
All of a
being
sudden,
scared to
I
sing in
like
front of your
hugging
friends to be able to sing in
snakes.
front of everyone.
Exactly.
yeah.
Off topic though, I think they should have a show. What is it? Ponytone's show. But they would require everyone in the audience to wear animal masks because she's perfectly fine singing to animals, right? It's genius. Totally work.
I mean, they had the animals wearing pony masks already with the Hurricane Fluttershy one.
Exactly.
So why not the reverse?
Anyway, go ahead.
So something that was really adorable is when Fluttershy is singing throughout like their different performances, she is always dancing. She's like really getting into the groove.
Oh my
and stuff
goodness,
like that.
I know. I haven't seen pony dancing like that in forever.
Since
There's a cheese episode.
Since the Rarity episode where Twilight danced.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like there was a little bit of it in the cheese episode, but it was like choreography, you know, and it was like, this is weird. Why are ponies standing and doing like boy band moves?
Yeah.
But yeah, in like the Twilight episode when they were doing that, like that was awesome. But there was so much movement, like when she was like shaking her hips back and forth and like doing things, and like she did the moonwalk when she bumped down the curtain.
Yeah.
It was great. It was adorable too.
Yeah. She went a little over the top in that last performance because Big Mac could not keep up with her. It was an interesting way to kind of wrap things up too, with the whole Big Mac getting better and like her not realizing that it was her last performance. So he kind of let her sing one last time. But then the whole like, you know, getting into the groove thing, and it's like, oh, this is my last performance, so I'm gonna make it really good and like really unique and stuff like that. And then she just like took it way too far.
Love the music here.
Yeah, but there was one scene when the curtain falls down and when everyone's cheering and stuff like that. Fluttershy like gets surrounded by eyes of ponies and
Floating, disembodied white ghost floating heads.
Well, that was Pinkie,
Yeah.
that was Pinkie's fault, wasn't it?
No,
Oh, no, that was just when the curtain fell down.
No.
Yeah,
That
when
was just
she
when the curtain
butt bumped
fell
the curtain.
Yeah,
And
it was like
exposed herself.
spotlights and then like more spotlights and then like it went all black and white and like yeah.
So fun.
Oh man.
God, like I was gonna say, fun fact. It was like there was yellowy in the scenes. It was like really, but I mean, it's just that dark contrast of like just blacks and whites and
Mhm.
whatever. But it was insane. Like you pointed out when we were watching it together, that it was insanely creepy.
Yeah.
It is, and it's great. I thought it was awesome. Like especially for a kid show to do creepy things like that, because stuff like that sticks with you. You know what I mean? So like some of the most vivid memories I have of cartoons I've watched are from like Courage the Cowardly Dog. And the creepy stuff they do in that show, you know? So I feel like creepy moments like that really stick with you, especially when you're young and impressionable, which I believe to an extent is a really good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it also,
that,
I mean,
that black
Go on.
that black and greyed out thing with all the spotlights, it's a great way that the animators can show sort of the anxiety that Fluttershy possesses.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
a
It
fantastic
makes
way
you
to
feel it.
express that.
Just like
I
in
think that's
how it
Hurricane
feels.
Fluttershy, right?
yeah, with the eyes, with the column of eyes that,
Yeah,
Like, they
that's
really
exactly-
tried
that's how it
to-
feels.
Yeah, they really
Mhm.
tried to show and animate visually what like true anxiety feels like. I also really enjoy Fluttershy's character for that extent of like being that character that does suffer from like anxiety related issues. If you know what I mean, because it makes her a relatable character for a lot of viewers. Because like every character kind of has like problems and like stuff that's generally relatable to, but like deep anxiety is a serious issue that like a lot of people have. So being able to relate to that to a certain like in a character in the show, I think is really awesome, because I can't think of like another character in a cartoon that I enjoy or watch who has like serious anxiety issues. Like maybe Double D from like Ed, Ed and Eddie, but it's always kind of a joke in that show, you know?
Courage the
Yeah.
Cowardly Dog.
That doesn't really count. He's a dog.
yeah.
Also, he's
No, I
always
mean-
scared of everything.
Yeah, it's done in a really good way in Pony, because like Fluttershy's, you know, she's a normal pony. Like it's not done over the top. There's no like paranoia kind of thing. But as soon as like there's these little things that set her off, and it's like very relatable the way that they did her character.
Exactly.
But
It's
I just
pretty
wanted
true
to bring
to
up
life.
one. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up one more thing because we do have to wrap up because we are short on time. Unfortunately,
Master.
I feel like Rainbow Plasma. Atmos Spark, you said that like Pinkie, you thought that Pinkie was kind of what Fluttershy was seeing, and that kind of is very interesting if you look at like this episode and possibly other episodes as like from the perspective of the
character,
the main character. Yeah, because then it becomes more about like the art of portraying what they're interpreting the scene to be. And so it's kind of like what we do with our art show, where it's like, you know, you kind of look at the little things that kind of make the scene.
Getting deep here.
Yeah, I know. And focusing on certain parts of it and whatnot. And so like with this episode, it could very well be that the art behind the whole episode is focused on what Fluttershy was feeling and like from her perspective what was going on. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Way too deep.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, like
Gotta
when
come
you're
for air
making
now.
animation like this, like you have to remember that it's made by hundreds of artists and like hundreds of people thinking about stuff like this. So it's stuff that I'm willing to give credit to the people who make like an episode like this, especially professional quality like cartoon like this, you know. So
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we do have to wrap up because we are short on time. But thank you guys for watching this spoiler cast, and come back next week for our Cutie Art Crusaders episode and for our spoiler cast of episode 15 of season 4, which we don't know the title of because we avoid spoilers.
come love me because we love you.
Yay!
No.
Aw. So thank you guys for joining us. My name is FlutterGuy317,
And it's Burn.
Atmos Spark.
and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.